Hi guys, it's Sam here from Seeds. It's a beautiful day outside, so I've got the curtains closed because the light was affecting the camera. But I'm here today to share with you another great tip about starting off seedlings without compost. So many of you have seen the tea bag technique that I was experimenting and had some great successes with. But if you were looking at more regular or more commercial methods of doing it, you might notice something like this, which this is a Jiffy 7 bag and it's filled with compressed coconut fibre, sometimes known as coconut flour. And when this is hydrated, it expands back out. That was picked up from either a garden centre, somewhere like Range, B&Q, Wicks. You might find it in Pews and other places like that. Equally, you can order it online via some online retailers. What I also noticed in a local discount store, this one happened to be Lidl's, is they've got a bag full of this coconut flour or coconut fibre. And this bag is already treated with a fertilizer and hopefully will support the plants. So inside the cover you have this bag that it says you snip off the top, and this little amount you add 3 litres of water to, and it will fill up all the way to the top and give you 10 litres of potting mixture that you can use to support those plants until they've got their first few true leaves, in which case you then need to pot them on into something which is going to nourish those roots a little bit more than what it will hold within the fibre. So I'm going to set this up and show you just what it looks like when it expands. I'll put that down here for a second. So the Jiffy 7 bags come in all different sizes. I've got a 41mm one here. So with this 41mm here, not necessarily that size, so let's have a look. What does it mean? So to me, it seems like it's the height that it's talking about. So if it's 41mm, it looks like it's just over 4 centimeters tall. So here's one that I expanded earlier. So it went from this all the way up to this, which if you notice, it's about roughly the same height of this. So one of these Jiffy 7 bags, when you add water to it, goes 5 times the size, all the way up. Just like this. So here's a lovely tomato seedling that's growing really well inside this. This is nice and moist. It's going to encourage those roots to expand out into it. And I'll see the roots come to the point here, and I'll put it onto a larger pot until it's ready for outside planting. So I'll just put that back to one side. Before I set this up, you can also find coconut fibre and coconut flour in other places, such as hydroponics locations. It's very much a common mixture, common media where people grow things with water. So sometimes fertilised water, and this might be indoor growing, it might be commercial lettuce growing indoors under UV lights. But generally you'll find hydroponics locations will also sell it in large bags, normally known as canner. So these would be your normal 70-litre bag, similar sort of size you buy it as a compost bag. So let's show you how this does expand. So this one bag here, we just cut the top off, and I'm going to pour my 3 litres of water in. When you do this, you add lukewarm water. So I'm just going to pour it in. That's 2 litres. I could get my hands in there and crumble it, but while that's having a go at absorbing into that, I'm going to add it into this tray as well. So while this is expanding, what you can see in the Jiffy 7 bag is it's got an outer coating, a biodegradable bag, and inside the compressed coconut flour or coconut fibre. And right in the middle you can see a dimple. Now that dimple, when it grows up, that's where you either continue that dimple down to make a hole and put in a transplant, so a plant that's already sprouted, and put it in to grow on, or I'd put my seed in there and just push it into the hole a little bit. As you can see here, they're already growing up. The water's already disappeared, so I'm going to add some more water back in. So what you can see here is they haven't fully expanded yet, and they've already taken 1 litre of water, so let's add some more. So that's the 2nd litre of water I've added. I didn't want to add it both at the same time because the tray I've got it in isn't deep enough for 2 litres of water. So in this bag it's now nice and soft, well, on the outside, so I'm just crumbling a little bit off the outside to let that water penetrate into the dry middle bit. Even though the bag's already had 3 litres, I'm going to add another one. Some of them dry bits are finding it hard to access the water. So what we can see from these ones is in just a few short minutes they've fully expanded and they're ready for planting. To see how I use these 2 trays and a big bag of coconut fibre compost, tune into my other videos. One's on wild bird seed and the other one's going to be on transplanting tomatoes. But I'll show you an example using a bigger tray, potting on some other seeds. I had space left on my desk, so I thought I would use these Jiffy 7 bags and pot on lots of other seeds, ready for sort of community plants or a plant swap. So I was setting these up. I haven't actually counted how many are there, but there's easily 150 Jiffy 7s on there. That's 5 litres of water already. Hasn't really touched them, has it? Plus it's got a little sink around the outside of it. That's another 5 litres there. So it's already had 10 litres, plus another 2, maybe 4 litres, and I think these are pretty much just about done. I'm going to get the seed packet and get on with it. So now they're ready, I'm going to plant in some garden peas across the whole of this tray. That's a lot of peas. I don't need to soak them. What I'm doing is just basically placing them inside the hole, sometimes making the hole bigger with my finger or just pushing them down gently into it, just to make sure that they're underneath the surface. You wouldn't really want to grow this many peas on a home scale. It's not the space or time it takes for sowing, it's what comes next. So consider, if I've got 100 pea plants here, I'm going to need space to grow on those 100 plus pea plants. That's when the compost and the space become more of an issue. It's not in the sowing and the germinating phase, it's in the potting on phase. So in these last few I'm just doubling up on marigolds. I'm putting a marigold or 2 in each tray, because marigolds are great, fantastic companion plants for many vegetables in the garden, attracting pollinators and also look nice, add a bit of colour to the borders. These are very much different to the pea seeds, they're kind of long and pointy. So now all these seeds in, I'm just basically pushing them in, poking down into the coconut fibre. I'm just going along making sure all seeds and everything are buried. That's that tray.